Sterling Holmes of Fansided and Stacking the Box, joined now by six-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion Fletcher Cox. Fletcher, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. What about yourself?
Man, I'm doing well. I am doing outstanding. I'm here in Kansas City, first and foremost, so I'm sorry. I got to get that out of the way. I hope we can still continue this conversation.
No, I don't feel sorry for you. It's okay.
Okay, good, good. Just making sure. Just making sure here in KC. I do want to point out last Friday, Bud Light announced an official plan to celebrate the Eagles and their Super Bowl 52 victory. To honor this historic moment, Bud Light is paying homage to the Eagles' Super Bowl winning team by releasing 52 limited edition commemorative Philly bottles featuring unique nods to the famed play in Eagles' Super Bowl 52 victory. Fletcher, can you talk a little more about this? Because this sounds badass.
It is, man. It's nice because we all know that Bud Light has been, a part of so many iconic moments of NFL, right? And I'm gonna put this right here at the top of the list. They coming back, they coming back and they want to celebrate the Philly, especially after obviously my teammate Nick retired. So that's special, man. And again, like it's always good to circle back, with great partners. Bud Light is at the top of the list. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I will say I have a great Bud Light story, especially in Philly. So I lived in Philly for 3 years. I actually lived there when you helped hoist the Lombardi and the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And I always want to say thank you to Eagles players because of you guys, I was able to crush a Bud Light downtown at City Hall. And I feel like that's a pretty fun story. So thank you to Bud Light and to Fletcher Cox for allowing that to happen.
Oh yeah, that had to be special. I'm sure you crushed more than one Bud Light. Especially during the parade. A lot of us probably crushed a lot of Bud Light. So, so that was fun, man. And I just definitely happy to be a part of what they have going on now for the season opener in Philly.
I know that obviously Nick Foles retiring now, that was the big news, why this is all happening. But you can be honest. Now that he's retired, now that you guys obviously won, when Carson Wentz went down, he was having a MVP caliber season. He went down. What was your thought when you're like, oh my gosh, Nick Foles is now taking over?
There was no second thoughts. There was no second thoughts because, as I always tell everyone, that Nick prepared himself every day as if he was a starter. Even that mentally how hard that can be when you're not starting, but you still got to prepare like one, and that just shows how much a professional that Nick is. That just show like the support he still got from his teammates because a couple years before, the year before, he was just the starting quarterback, right? He was the starting quarterback. He had a couple starts under his belt. So for a guy like that to step in and then keep that team playing at a championship level, you got to have nothing but respect for him.
Yeah. When you watch the Philly special unfold, what was going through your mind?
Well, you playing to win a championship game, you got a chance to kick a field goal, and they run that play. So that you see that stuff happens in practice all the time, where they kind of run these plays on offense, and you back in here, you're like, man, they ain't never run that in a game. Like, why are we wasting this period on this? And I mean, Doug got big balls, so you know, he gave Nick what he wanted, and Nick wanted to run it, and everybody in the sideline, I think, stood up because a lot of people was just basically telling the defense, "Hey, come watch this. Hey, come watch this," and we're like, "Watch what?" So yeah, man, it was definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, shockingly, the Patriots didn't get a surprise of what's going to happen since the entire defense is now lined up watching you guys. Wonder what's going to happen. It just can't be a normal play now.
Well, I mean, it happens, right? But it was definitely special, and we
Yeah.
still that playoff beat forever talked about in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah. How would you stop the tush push since no one can? I mean, I don't know
You're
if you
not.
ever.
You're not. You want my honest opinion? If it's
Yes.
ever fourth and one, fourth and less than one, I'm just gonna look to the sideline and be like, "Yo, coach, come get me." Like, let's just start with a fresh set of downs. But I really want. Nah, it's hard to stop. It's literally hard to stop, and it's called Snoopy, not the tush push. Okay.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Did you ever go up against Jason Kelsey and practice that? Because I don't know how you don't want to get injured, obviously, right? That's more
You can't
game.
practice it. You have to
Yeah,
walk through it. It's like, yeah, you have to walk through it.
man, that's crazy. It's insane.
Not against us though. They was offense, versus offense. They would walk through it. literally like you don't. It's hard to practice. Their attention to detail in their play, the spacing where everybody got to be has to be perfect. And when it don't work, that means somebody alignment wasn't perfect.
Yeah, it just blows my mind, man. Again, I sit here in Kansas City, and the Chiefs have struggled in short yardage situations for so long. They won't do QB sneaks with Mahomes, and we're sitting here watching Philadelphia do this play, and we're sitting here going, "Come on, come on! This is the just do this over 91% completion or 91% success
Yeah,
rate doing it. It's just it's
yeah.
insane." I want to point out you played 12 years in the NFL, and you hardly ever missed a game. How are you able to
Uh,
stay so healthy? How are you able to be so damn good for so damn long into your 30s? I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, I got to give a big shout out to my guy that trained me in the offseason, Dion Hodges. Um, he was there from day one, for my first offseason. We stuck together for 12 years, and he kind of learned my body and knew which ways to kind of push me, to get me uncomfortable, and that was the biggest thing. And the way that he trained, the way that we trained, it was always normally one-on-one training. And he had other clients, but we would kind of taper my times out, especially the more I got into my years in the NFL. But he would kind of taper my workouts out to where I can last for those 16, 17 games plus playoffs, where there's some athletes that, I watch all the time where they push themselves to the limit during the off season, which is sometimes your body just can only take so much. And only missing 3 games, I think 3 or 4 games because of injury was because like I lived in the training room. I took care of my body. If I had little stuff that was kind of bothering me, we started treating it. Steve-O would have me in there. Mark would be in there. He was with the organization, and they kind of learn my bodies. If I have an injury, they kind of know what's going to work for me to get back on the field fast. So just shout out to all those people, man, the whole training staff, Eagles, Dion, and the way that the organization took care of me during the week to get to Sunday.
Yeah. How have you seen the game evolve from when you came to the NFL until now? Obviously, there's been some rule changes, the new kickoff rule, of course, but even just in how regards to the quarterback protection with the quarterback now, defensive linemen, you've had to change. How have you seen it evolve in the 12 years you played?
I mean, it's changed a lot, especially since my first year in 12. With now they've taken out so much stuff, especially to protect players. But let's be honest. Excuse me. It's still a physical game that's played really hard and really fast. A lot of the hits on quarterbacks, a lot of the hits on players aren't intentional. It's just sometimes force meets force, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard, right? It's hard to slow down. 300 plus pounds when you're getting after the quarterback and you're 2 steps away and he released the ball and you kind of fall on his knee, or a lineman push you into him. That's hard. The biggest thing to change is we as a defensive player, adjusting, being a pro, adjusting and keep going and playing as hard as you can because things are going to happen that you can't control.
Yeah, I always find it fascinating. 'Cause I'm like 300 plus pounds. You ran a 4.7, by the way, which is that's just asinine. That's absurd. No man that size should move that fast. But like, what's a dude supposed to do? You got. There's nothing a guy can do in that situation. Again, I lived in Philly for a couple of years, so I'm a big cheesesteak guy. I feel qualified to ask this question. What's your favorite cheesesteak spot?
uh, it's a couple. I like Jim's.
Yeah.
I like Ishki Biggles.
Yes.
I like Ishki Biggles. I get my haircut on South Street, so if I go to South Street, sometimes I stop by Ishki Biggles, get me a cheesesteak. But I just want it plain with cheese and that's it, mayo, and that's it. Like that's all I want. I don't want
Ish,
the onions. You know,
no whiz wit. No,
yeah,
get the onions out of here.
yeah, no, I don't know. They're not meant to eat.
Oh man, Ishkabibbles is underrated. That's the most
Yeah,
underrated spot by far.
yeah,
I know you had Andy Reid one year, right? Your rookie season, and he was your head
yeah.
coach. What was it like with Andy Reid as your head coach? Again, obviously, I know it was your rookie season, only one year. But what was he like?
It was great. He gonna get the best out of you, best out of the players. I was a young player, and I think my rookie year, if I can remember, I jumped off sides and he started screaming at me, and then the next play I got a sack, and I kind of looked at him like, yeah. So that was one of the fun moments. He just kind of put his head down, like shook his head, and like kind of waved the paper at me. But he always get the best out of his players. It doesn't matter who you are, you know, and that's why he's having so much success the way he's doing now. He's gonna get the best out of you, no matter what position. Those are all the good things. And you know, his practices they're gonna be his practices. You know, there's no adjusting his practices. You know, but now you kind of have to with the way the rules have changed and all of this. But it was always good. You know, he gave me a chance to change my life, and I still appreciate that to this day.
Yeah. I also want to point out and give a huge shout out to Bud Light, and they're continuing the celebration in proper Eagles fashion because on Monday, September 16th, Bud Light and you will be passing out Bud Light to fans 21 plus for the ultimate Phillies experience at Xfinity Live's NBC Sports Arena ahead of the Eagles' first game in Philly this season. You getting excited for that?
Yeah, I'm excited, man, because you know this is the opportunity that you take advantage of to go back and live those moments with your teammates. Also, live that moment again with Bud Light. This time, I get to hand out beers to fans, 21 and older. Get to celebrate Nick. You know, obviously with the Philly bottles, which is going to be. I'm excited to see them in person, obviously, but you know, excited for the fans to be there. It's going to be a crazy night in Philly. I think I said that the game's at 8:15, so fans probably started drinking about 12:15. So it's going to be exciting.
Okay, final actual question. Will you ride the mechanical bull that's there? Will you get on that
Absolutely
bad
not.
boy? Oh, I heard absolutely, and I got so excited. I was thrilled.
There ain't enough beer in there to make me get on that.
Six-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion Fletcher Cox. Again, shout out to Bud Light. Fletcher, really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.